What's up, y'all? I'm back with another video. Today I'm reacting to Capitalism versus Socialism Town Hall Part 4. We've been doing these parts. It's been part 1, I ain't even do part 1. I did part 2, part 3, and now we're doing part 4 of this, right? We're doing part 4 of this reaction. This goofy looking dude, man. This dude goofy looking, but it is what it is, y'all, man. Hey, listen. Whatever you going through in life, just remember it'll get better. Stay working hard on everything you gotta get done. Don't ever quit. I mean, life will get to you. Life will beat up on you, you know. As long as you stay on the path of straight and narrow, you should be alright. But anyways, so Capitalism versus Socialism Town Hall. Y'all know what to do. Subscribe, turn on post notifications. Y'all know what to do, man. I'm making so many videos, I probably shouldn't have to say that every time, but yeah, you do gotta remind people. But let's go.
Welcome back to our Fox Business special town hall on capitalism and socialism. Bianca Cunningham and Richard Wolff, they have been advocating for more socialism in America. And Herman Cain has been fighting a good capitalist fight. And Lou Dobbs is known also as a capitalist fighter. He's the host of Lou Dobbs Tonight, 7 p.m. here on the Fox Business Network. And he was just named TV's premier business news anchor by the Wall Street Journal. He graduated from Harvard. He's got a degree in economics.
For those of you who don't know, I think it's funny that those are the only two people that they can bring on there and have this conversation with, because I don't think they had this conversation too many times. But I'm interested to know if they would bring more people on there, because I swear, man, it seems like Fox News and CNN don't really bring diverse opinions on their shows. And when they do bring in diverse opinions, it's like they bring so many people to try to beat up on that diverse opinion. So you got the same two people here. You've had Herman Cain in the past 2. Yeah, but it's the new guy every time. You had the girl, the one guy, and then now you got this guy. So it's a great conversation though. But let's see it.
You grew up in Texas and Idaho. Lou, it is so great to have you here.
Great to be with you and all of you. Thank you very much.
All right, let's jump back into it. Let's start with Fiona. She's going to get us started in this segment. Fiona, how's it going?
Hi. So corporate executives who answer only to themselves and a few wealthy stockholders make basic economic decisions that affect millions of people. Why wouldn't consumers and workers benefit from a system that would give them input and possible ownership of entities that control their lives?
So that's a good question. That was completely wrapped in socialism, but that's a really good question. That's an extremely good question, man. Like I ain't even gonna hold you. I like that question. I want to see. Let the capitalists answer first. I want to see what they're going to say to that. I really want to see. What would be wrong with the workers having more power over what happens to them? What would be wrong with that?
So, let me start you on this, Bianca. Verizon, you organized the workers, but you would have wanted to go. First of all, you were fired for doing that, you told me.
I was fired for organizing, yes.
Do you feel like that system is that way, that there's just a handful of people making the decisions and it would be better?
Certainly. Every single year, I worked for Verizon for 6 years, and I worked off a commission structure. Every year I was making less and less money. They were coming in making arbitrary decisions that affected my lives, that affected my ability to provide for my family, and we came together and organized to join a union to fight back, and we won better wages, we won better working conditions, because that's exactly the system that we're trying to move to. And the fact that people are retaliated against for using their right, for exercising their right to organize, is one of the problems that happens whenever a few people at the top are able to set the agenda in this country.
Well, on top of that, people are saying,
dang, she didn't say nothing wrong. I'm gonna tell y'all another story. This girl told me she worked as a manager, right? She worked as a manager, and she knew the profit that she had to meet every single year, right? And so anytime the workers, okay, so I'm bringing up the profit for a later conversation. But anytime the workers, she said that anytime the workers ever talked about unionizing, that they would try to figure out who the name was and then try to find anything and any reason to get them fired. And she said the company was coercing her into doing that. Crazy. But what made it even crazier was when she said, like, she had to explain to people while there was a monitor on the back of them saying they made network profits that year, that they don't have enough to give them a decent raise and things like that. Those are the things that, hey man, we need some kind of benefit. You know, some kind of benefit. However, the question is still, where's the money gonna come from? Let's go.
hey, these people are paying themselves obscene amounts amounts of money. Abigail Disney is railing against Disney CEO making $65 million a year when the average worker there is making $50,000.
I think they're right. The fact of the matter is that CEO pay in this country.
Do you support Israel and the Jewish people? Now, more than ever, Israel needs commitment.
Country is out of line. It is absolutely an anomaly within American history. And since 1993, when we made stock options reportable but not deductible, we've changed the metrics here. The worker, the employee is watching management soar in compensation, while workers have just a disadvantaged part in that ratio. It should be much, much less than 500 to 1. Historically, the number is anywhere from 20 to 25 times as much. And that has to be addressed. It should be addressed by the way, stakeholders, including the people who own the companies, that is, shareholders. The idea that it's an alignment between shareholders and management is just specious nonsense.
Richard, you talked about...
He totally disagreed with everything she just said, almost in a way. I thought he was supposed to be the objection opinion. Let's go.
Everyone at these corporations having a voice, but would that actually work as well? Wouldn't it be chaos? You do need some precise decision making.
The most successful economy in Europe is Germany. And for the last 30 years, the German law has prescribed the following, which if it shocks you, tells you something about the media that you're subject to in this country. The law in Germany is the following. Every corporation that has 2,000 or more workers must put 49% of the people on the board of directors elected by the workers. If you have less than 2,000, you have to have 25%. That puts a workers' representative on every board of directors, multiples. They are participating in the planning. They know what's being done unless secret efforts are made to go around them, which are proscribed in German law. Has it produced chaos in Germany? Not at all. Their recovery from the 2008 depression was much better than ours. They even had the levels of unemployment. The notion that you could not have workers participating is canceled not by abstract discussions of theory, but by reality of what other capitalist countries have managed to do, but we're just far behind.
Is that going from one extreme to another?
Wow. No, I'm gonna give y'all something else too, right? There's a company I used to work at that actually did stuff like that. Like they would have management get on, like, okay, so like we would deliver, right? And they would have management get on the trucks and see what was going on out there. And surely 100% that helped so much, because when management saw like higher ups, they would have really higher ups come out and get on the trucks. And what management would see would be like, okay, this problem, that problem, that problem, things that get fixed, things that get done. And that company went from it started in the 1900s, and by the early 2000s was across the country. And it's real well known in the South. I don't want to tell y'all, but it's definitely like I feel like it was a form of socialism almost, in a way. Like it was like, but not fully though. Like it was still a person who represented the workers to know what was going on with the workers, but it wasn't fully like that. But I do think that would be effective. Hell yeah, I think that would be effective. Hell yeah, I want to see what the capitalists feel though. I want both perspectives. What do the capitalists feel?
Another?
I'm sorry?
Would that be going from one extreme to another?
Well, I don't know that it's even the place that actually exists in Germany. In point of fact, they have extraordinary social costs that impede their economic growth. They have a mercantilist trade economy. They live in large measure on U.S. deficits and their surpluses as a result. Germany is not a model for economic growth, vitality, or innovation. It is a model for mercantilism and international trade. It is hardly a model, in my opinion, for a vibrant, progressive economy.
Let me give you an example. One second, I want to get, we're running.
Okay, yeah, he's an economist, so he does understand how economies work. And yeah, okay, so he's saying that it's not a model because of its dependence on the U.S. economy. But I wonder if we modelize things behind what Richard Wolff was saying in the U.S., that's the question, right? But that's interesting. Let's hear what Richard Wolff got to say. That was a good comeback. Hell yeah.
Out of time with Richard, and we're going to get another question in. In fact, let's go to Michael. He's got the next question for Michael.
Can we recognize that there are human rights like education, healthcare, housing, food. This should be available to everyone, not just to those who can afford them, recognizing that these exist as rights in this country, not in Cuba or Venezuela, only because people fought for them, for public education, for housing, for national parks, for public libraries, because socialists fought for them long and hard.
I would agree with you that those are some basic human rights that people are entitled to. And as you know, our public school system provides free, not free, education paid for with taxpayer dollars. What some of the socialists want to do is to now move that up another level, when at the same time, there are issues just K through 12 because of some of the ways that things are done. Many people take their kids out of public schools because they see some of the inequities there. I don't disagree with you that those are some of the basic rights that everybody ought to be entitled to. I just don't believe government ought to be the one to pay for all of it.
People who don't have nothing cannot hear the capitalist talk, because I feel like the capitalists come from an area where it seems like they don't really care. His response sounded like it doesn't really care. Government should absolutely cover its citizens. If the market cannot cover the citizens the way the market is supposed to, and capitalists don't care to cover them, some of them don't, I'm not saying all, but some don't, then the government should be able to step in and actually put in a hand to guide it into helping certain people who cannot benefit from the economics in the market. And I'm going to give another point. Do y'all know who used to sell pizza? He was part of Godfather's Pizza. And yeah, he used to sell pizza. That's not discrediting his anything. I thought that was a fun fact.
I can respond to the notion that you raise at the same time that I respond to Lou.
Okay.
One of the things Germany does with its dollars is to do the following. All costs of college in Germany right now are zero. No tuition, no fees, not only for German citizens, but for anyone in this room who went to Germany to take a college career could go there and they wouldn't be required to pay anything. Why? Because in Germany the idea is the best way to develop the productivity and the innovation and the growth is to give everybody a chance to a free education. And they're doing real well with it, and they wouldn't recognize the description of Germany. They fought for these things, and even the conservative government of Mrs. Merkel could not resist what a powerful socialist and labor movement insisted be done.
There is no such thing as a human right. There are, and as you...
I'm gonna let him finish. There is no such thing as a human right. That's what the capitalist side just said. Oh, man, y'all making the capitalists look bad. Not all of us feel that way. Y'all making the capitalists look bad. Y'all really are, man. Y'all making the capitalists look bad.
Outlined yourself. There are rights that this country has created in its Constitution and that have been fought for by Americans throughout our history. There is no exception. There is no right that is simply because we arrived on this continent. There is no right just because we happen to be human beings. And that's why there is quite a disparity in the lives and livelihoods of people all around the globe. It should make it more important for everyone to understand what is working and what is not working, not only in this country, but in this hemisphere and around the world. We know what isn't working, and that is socialism. There are rare exceptions. But this economy, there is no close second to what has been achieved by American capitalism, American free enterprise capitalism that has not only created the world's only superpower, the wealthiest country on earth, but the most powerful economically, militarily, and in any other way you wish to apply a metric. This is capitalism. It works. Then there is Venezuela. There is Cuba. And then there is China. And China, by the way, is a country America built. Not always voted.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay. He's right. There is no such thing as rights. There is no such thing as rights. It's not a smart thing to say in a conversation in a country where people are predicated upon the rights that they have, right? Within the Constitution, they're predicated upon those rights, and they believe in those rights, and they think that we should all have those rights. I don't think that was a really smart thing to say. However, though, to be fair to his point, that threw it off, though. Really did, to say that we don't like there's no rights, right? I really ain't even got nothing to say. Like, I mean, that just completely threw my train of thought off. Like, there's no rights. People should have rights. It's just how far should those rights go, I guess. I don't know. Like, whatever, man. That threw me off.
We worry that if the government did everything, we wouldn't have the impetus to do the things that make us great. We would never achieve individual greatness if the government did everything for us.
I think when we look at countries that provide basic human needs to their people, what we see is that they have the opportunity to pursue career paths that make them happy, that suit their skill sets, as opposed to what we have here, which is people stuck in dead-end jobs because they're afraid of losing their health care. They can't transition to different career paths, and they also can't start small businesses because they can't afford to go without health insurance. What we're trying to achieve is a system where people have the freedom to pursue what they're good at, what they're passionate about, and I think what we see is that people work harder to grow the economy whenever they're doing something that they're passionate about.
And like, for real, like, capitalists should be on board with this, because you want the citizens, because, okay, not everybody wants to be a capitalist, right? Not everybody wants to be like me. Not everybody wants to own businesses. Not everybody wants to do those kind of things, right? Not everyone, like, I also work too. I'm in the workforce too, but not everybody wants to own businesses and do things like that, right? So capitalists should be, with the amount of money that you make, if you make billions of dollars, your goal should be to actually try to find a way to make the world better. And if there's a way that enough capitalists could donate enough money to where these things could actually happen, then we should be doing that. That should be a patriotic thing. A patriotic thing should be to lift everybody off the bottom if possible. And I think America can pull it off. I don't understand the big argument behind that. I think America could definitely pull it off. However, though, I do know in the next 10 years we're going to be spending more than what we make. Way more than what we make. And we might be running out of money. Something to think about.
Number one, you never hear the socialists talk about costs, and they don't talk about risks. They never talk about costs, and they never talk about risks. Those are two words that does not appear in that narrative whatsoever anywhere. And even when somebody asks the question, what is it going to cost, they shifted the subject, and they want to ignore the fact that those things are unaffordable.
No, they're not unaffordable. They're not unaffordable, and socialists do talk about costs, right? They talk about what it would take to have that type of conversation. Capitalists talk more about costs because they do understand micro and macroeconomics, and I do feel like they do argue those points a little better when it comes to the cost. But risk is absolutely something they definitely talk about. Everybody know transitioning any any type of economics you transition can start a war. Can lead to somebody like Hitler, Stalin, Mao coming to power. Economic downturns lead to distressful times, which lead to bad times for some people. Everyone knows this. It's just socialists are trying to figure out all together, like, look, how do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem to where there's no bloodshed? And I feel like capitalists are trying to do the same thing as well. I just feel like there's a lot more me in capitalism and a lot of cutthroatness in capital, cutthroat nature in capital. I said cutthroat nature in capitalism. But still, I think both sides are trying to do what they can. Like, I don't think either side is overwhelmingly evil. And I'm gonna go to the other guy's point he made earlier. He said that Everywhere socialism has been tried. He pointed out Venezuela and places like that where socialism has fully been tried. He said China is an American-built nation. What he didn't want to say is that China is a socialist nation. And it doesn't matter how it got to where it got, it's still a socialist nation. I'm going to tell you why it doesn't matter why it got to it got. It started a socialist nation. It did add an element of capitalism to it, but still remains socialist. And the government takes care of all the responsibilities of the people. And from my understanding, those people there are happy. Point blank, period. So there's problems everywhere, but Xi Jinping is doing great. Oh, Munchie. I'm just playing. Let's keep going.
Let me quote Milton Friedman for just one moment. And he said, and I think so aptly, I think the most brilliant economist
Milton
of my
Friedman.
generation. He said that those who want freedom and equality and make that a priority are likely to have neither. Those who would put equality above freedom will certainly lose freedom. And those who put freedom above equality will have the opportunity for both.
We're going to leave it right there. Thank you all very much. It went very fast. I hope everyone found this important discussion helpful, informative. I want to thank everyone at home for watching. A very special thank to our wonderful audience. Thank you all very much. Of course, I want to say thank you. Richard Wolf, Bianca Cunningham, Herman Cain, Lou Dobbs, Kennedy from earlier, Neil Cavuto, and Stuart Varney. I'm Charles Payne. I'll see you back here on Making Money weekdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will continue this conversation.
All right, yeah, he just selling Fox News. You know what's crazy? I ain't even gonna hold you. I would make a better argument for the capitalists than both of them did, than like most of the people that came on this show. Because there's one argument that you can make as a capitalist. If you believed in ethical capitalism, you can make the argument that socialists have to take from the capitalists in order to get socialism. It's the biggest argument you can make right there. Socialists have to take from the capitalists in order to get socialism. Anyways, y'all, thank you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you, and I'm out. Whoosh.